back to Susie's Garden. Today's video is all about basil. Beautiful, amazing basil. I'm going to give you a 101 on basil so you can know everything you could possibly have wanted to know about it. Basil care, basil pest control, everything you want to know all in one video. So here we go. So first we want to talk about the environment basil likes to grow in. It loves a warm environment and it doesn't want temperatures under 50 degrees overnight. And you want to make sure that if you have planted the seeds and you are growing seedlings to plant outside, to transplant outside, that you wait until the last frost. Otherwise, you could grow basil almost the entire year. I'm in zone 10, so for me it's very easy to grow basil almost all year long. The basil plant loves the sun. So anywhere between 5 to 10 hours of full sun is optimal for a basil plant. Less than that, it can still live and it can still give you beautiful leaves, but it's not going to be as plush and wonderful of a plant as it would be if it was getting adequate sunlight. You could definitely grow it under a tree, as I'm going to show you. You need to water it at least twice a week, especially if it's very, very hot out. Here in California, it's been extremely hot. We've been seeing high 80s, high 90s throughout all of July. It is watered sufficiently. Otherwise, it's going to go to flower very quickly. You could see here that these have gone to flower, and I definitely wanted to let it do that so I could show you how to prune your basil plant, which we'll get to in a second. I'm also going to show you how to top it so that it doesn't stop growing and it keeps growing and keeps flourishing. When the flower grows on the top of the basil, it's going to stop its growth. So the plant is going to just continue to put all its energy in producing the seeds, which are right beneath the flower or in the flower bed. If you let it flower, which you may want to, I do that at the end of the growing season so that I could collect all the seeds to regrow them again, and you just don't have to purchase seeds anymore. Once you have the types of basil you like in your yard, then you never need to buy those seeds again. You could just collect them at the end of the growing season or throughout, however you prefer. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to prune. All you need is a little pair of scissors, and you are going to want to take this flower, and you could either do it two ways. You could just literally clip the flower right off, or you could go down where there is these little, see how you have one big flower, one big leaf, and then these little baby leaves underneath. You want to go as far down as where the baby leaves are. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to cut pretty far down because it'll just grow right back up. So I'm going to show you. You see the little leaves? And you're going to see that, oh, I have something to show you. This is important, and I'm glad I just saw it. So let's see if I could show it to you. This caterpillar is what's been causing so much grief. So you see this caterpillar having a feast? That's what's the culprit that's been actually putting holes in my beautiful basil. So I'll show you what the caterpillar has been doing. It's been eating my basil. So we're going to go over pest control in a little while after I'm done pruning the basil. So this is a beautiful Italian basil, and I'm going to just prune away here. Now I want to also show you, as you're pruning, you're finding if you have any type of disease. Right here you could see the beginning of powdery mildew, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of that. I'm just going to town here on these. Now this lovely variety, here we go. Here's another bug for you. Look at this one. It doesn't want you to see it, but that's what it looks like. And I just got rid of that. Cutting away here. So this is my pride and joy. This is Gourmet purple basil, and it is just spectacular to have in the garden, not only to cook with, but just to look at it. I mean, look at this. It's just so fragrant and so beautiful. I highly recommend having this in your garden. So I am going to now remove all the flowering parts of it because I want it to continue to grow. Oh my gosh, it smells so delicious. So amazing and beautiful. God's creations are amazing. My goodness, I have so much. And I just barely started. Okay, I feel like this pride and joy right here, I just do not want to cut it off, but I'm going to. Kills me. Look at that. Look at this. Isn't it just the most beautiful thing ever? Starting to form. How is that looking? Now, these are going to bush up, right? They're going to get bigger and more beautiful. I want to show you what I got from just this plant. Look at this. Okay, and then from the ones beneath, this is what I've been cutting. Look at how much basil we have here. Quite a bit, right? What are we going to do with all this basil? Well, I'm definitely going to show you. So this is what it looks like now. It looks sad, but in a week or two, it's going to be huge again. And I'll definitely show you what it looks like. So these flowers are actually edible. Some people don't know that, or they throw it away, and it's actually the most flavorful of the entire plant. So don't throw it away. Try it, see if you like it, and let me know in the comments. So now let's talk a little bit about spacing. Here you could see that I have it spaced about, I want to say 5 to 7 inches apart. Show you some basil that I have grown at the foot of a tree. I use old like milk cartons or almond milk cartons to start some of my herbs. This is sage, the purple basil, and then the beautiful Italian pesto basil. And then I have some right here under our lemon tree as well. And these are growing beautifully, as you can see. This gets way less sun than where the fountain is. It's still producing, and it still will end up being a big bush. I have these that I'm letting actually turn to seed. So I'm wanting them to dry, and I'm gonna let them just be until they're dried out, and I will then harvest the seeds. Aren't they just beautiful? These will be thousands and thousands of seeds, so it'll be much more than I need. And here's my harvest. Quite a bit, right? Quite a bit. All right, so now that we have harvested such an enormous amount of basil, I want to go over a few things with you about the basil plant. So first off, what plagues the basil? So you see these little holes in them. Now these could either be a few different things. It could be grasshoppers that could be taking a nibble of your basil. If that's the case, there's really nothing you can do about it. They're just going to take a little taste and move along. If it is, if you live in a very wet climate, with a lot of humidity and moisture, you may get slugs. Usually those are for the basils that are planted on the ground. Not really in something like this up, but if it's planted in a garden or around a tree, you might get slugs. For me, the biggest plague is what I showed you and encountered a little while ago, which is the caterpillar. Unfortunately, I get caterpillars, but everything I grow is organic, so I don't use any type of pesticide or anything on my basil. What I do is I come out here and I inspect them, and I look through them, and like I saw, oh, here's a caterpillar, and I actually physically remove them. I don't use any type of spray. There are a few 100% organic sprays that you can purchase, but I personally don't use them, so I'm not going to recommend them. But they do exist, and you can definitely use them if you would like. For me, like I said, the problem isn't that severe that I would need to come and spray down the basil every few weeks. I could, like you could see here, all of these basil, this entire bucket of basil, there was 2 bugs, so it's not really worth it to me. Now the other problem is the powdery mildew. I normally don't get that on my basil at all, so I was kind of surprised to have actually seen it, and it's actually starting right there, which is troublesome because I've never had that before on my basil. But since it is just on one leaf and I caught it right at the beginning, it's very easy to remedy. Obviously, as soon as you see that, you're going to want to pluck that leaf right off and get rid of it. You do not want it to stay on your plant so that it spreads to the other plants and leaves. 1 tablespoon of baking soda to 1 gallon of water. You could use up to 3 tablespoons of baking soda, but I would go up gradually because you don't want to damage your plant if it's too strong. So you could start with 1.5 tablespoons of baking soda, and then you just spray down the plant completely, and that should pretty much resolve that problem. I hope that this helped you, and I hoped you learned how to take care of basil the Italian way, and I hope it was something that was informative and that helped you grow beautiful basil. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. The next video I'm going to have right after this one is going to be how to store your basil. So you saw that big beautiful bowl of basil that I now have, and I'm going to show you how to store it 3 different ways. If you did like it and enjoy it, please hit thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like more videos. So I hope to see you back. Bye. Have a great day.